Holding space while other people go through an awakening is a very interesting process. Because we've already done this, and most of you coming to this kind of environment, talking about these topics, are fairly long embroiled in this. Some for decades, this came through in the 70s. Many people, it's been in the last 10 years, and some just 3 or 4. But when you look back at where you first got your call to awake, it was something along the lines of dissatisfaction and feeling like there might be something better. But most of us we just can't live like this anymore. We don't want to feel that level of pain. And I think one of the largest triggers that we get is that we just aren't being seen, aren't being nice to ourselves, aren't being received. People don't understand us, or we're not getting opportunities in our lives. So really stop fighting the uphill battle we've been trying. And that sounds lovely. It sounds lovely to put down the fight, to realize we need to go in a different direction, to stop trying to be who we aren't. But we know how hard this is. We know that you discombobulate and you get pulled all the way apart to see what you don't need and then put back together in another format. It's a trick, it's a trial. And then you come to the other side where you have your own mind and your own ability to connect to source and to have peace and to make choice that really you value. And you've come a long way. And most days we're pretty good at it. And some days we need to remind ourselves and regroup. And we wouldn't undo it, and we wouldn't have it another way. Take a moment to be really proud of yourself. The version of self-love you had 10 years ago compared to now, compared to where you're going. And now we consider the people who are coming up behind us, that are awakening now, that are beginning their journey. And yes, there's more information available. And yes, there's more connection available. And finally, the atmosphere and the energy supporting it. So it's a really blessed time compared to where we would have found it piecemeal and finding connections here and there. But also consider that there's so much going on for everybody. We're in the middle of this evolutionary energy. We've had many years of change, and it's perhaps not more or less than your experience, but the overwhelm feels more exposed and more public. So these people are coming to us to speak, to be heard, not to learn from us, not to be told what to think and feel, but because their soul recognizes a kindred spirit. And it's easy to consider ourselves beginners when we're not teachers or practitioners, but we're not. You know, as an adult woman, I'm not a beginner at being a daughter, sister, mother, friend. Even if I don't have it down, I understand the basic pattern of the journey now, and I can support others in those positions. And it's the same with our intuition journeys. People are starting to come around and realize there's more going on and there's more available. And we understand all of the benefits. Once you're empowered, you know that not only is there more available, but it gets easier and it's better for you and it brings you joy and brings you opportunities for more joy. But they don't know this yet. They just know that their current reality no longer serves them, and they're sad or scared or dissatisfied or disillusioned and probably distressed. And they just go, oh, I don't know. I'm seeing things, I'm thinking things, I'm questioning things. And we hold space. This is what we do for the next wave of awakenings, of people finding themselves. And we remember that they will have a different belief system than ours. That's why we're not teaching. That they will have a different way of relating. So we're not telling them about our journey unless they ask. we're just holding space and letting them say, I'm worried about this, tell me about that. Or I've questioned this, and how does that make you feel? Because we know how to ground a conversation, to clear the energy, to look at them with love while they find their feet. And what a powerful community we're going to have the more and more and more this continues. And it will, because we have moved into this new age. Now we're just finding our feet. So this is part of your service. Have an awareness that if somebody comes to you and starts asking questions or speaking about these things, and you feel at ease and ready and comfortable to talk, then do. But listening is the most important piece. Letting them find their way so that they feel more connected faster, more aware of their guidance, safer, heard, less alone and confused. And they can come through this faster than we did. They can come through this and get whole and happy and move forward to be constructive. We're just holding space. But it's important we understand we're not the first wave. We'd be lucky if we're the second. There are so many before us. And many of us who've done this for decades are doing it in a new way in the last few years. As the vibrations and information come in and we have access to new. So please don't think that you're a beginner when it comes to holding space for other people's energy and awareness and learning. You're a soul journey with them, and it's important you make the time. And one day it will be them listening to something like this, ready to support the next. And that's all we do in the new energy. We hold space, we support, we listen. We put ourselves where the energy dictates, but we don't put ourselves where it doesn't. And that's why the right people help the right people. But most people coming through an awakening will and should grow beyond their teachers. So if these are close friends of yours, you don't want to be their teacher, you don't want to be their guide, you just want to be a friend and ally, so that when they've moved through this, your friendship stays, your balance is still equal. You can just talk about much cooler things.